Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we're taking a look at the transporter Gaia from the Tomica Hyper Rescue Drive headline. This is kind of like their large transport vehicle in the show. I've seen the transport vehicle in action. I haven't seen it actually transform. But as soon as I saw the transport vehicle on the show, I was like, I really hope they make a toy of that. I really want a toy of that. And they have, and it's pretty cool. So as you can see here, it has the transport vehicle mode. It has a robot mode, and then off in the distance here, it has a combination mode, which of course we'll take a look at all of these. Also comes with a chip down here for use with the drive gear, so we'll take a look at that as well. Taking a look at the top here, just kind of shows the two modes, robot mode, transport mode. Down here, it shows the same two modes, but their positions are switched. Let's see if I can, probably not going to be able to show you too well the side, but it just kind of shows the transport, the robot mode. Then if you bring in one of the other robots, you can do the combination, which is a really, really cool combination, but we'll get there. On this side, again, just kind of shows the robot mode and the transport mode, and then the back of the transport can open, and there's functionality there as well. This is also all pictured here on the back. So transport mode, robot mode, open up the bed and you can actually put one of the other vehicles inside. And it also, this bed section can come off and kind of become like a mobile garage, or, you know, fix-it area, for lack of a better term. I'm sure there's a better term there that I just can't think of. A garage is not bad. So anyway, here are the three normal robots. Then it shows you the three combinations. I'm not going to show you all three. I just picked a robot at random, and we'll take a look at that. I mean, they're all pretty similar, just a little bit of color swaps and things like that. But here are the three robots all the way here to the right. So pretty cool. I really like this toy. I think it's really fun. I love giant robots, especially when they can combine with robots I already have. So what's not to love? So let's go ahead and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so there's a lot to unpack here. Obviously, there's a lot of different moving pieces and everything. I've already applied all of the stickers. There was this massive sticker sheet, probably in the area. It looks like 27 was the highest number, so pretty involved sticker sheet there. It took me about half an hour to apply all the stickers and everything, so it takes some time. I went ahead and took care of that already. Going through the different components here. Here is the little chip. I like the purple color. I like that see-through purple. It's pretty fun. I'll go into more detail with this when I bring the drive gear in a little bit later, so I'm just going to put that off to the side. You have this plastic shell piece, and as far as I can tell, I can't find a good place to put it in the vehicle mode, but I'll show you that in a second. It's mostly used for the combination mode with the robot, so I'll show you how that goes. Putting that off to the side, you have another little helmet here, which again is for the combined mode. And this is pretty nice. It's got a little bit of paint on it, but it's also kind of mainly a see-through red color. Not too bad. This little piece here, I'll show you where this goes in a minute, but this has the little robot eyes for the robot mode. I like the dinky little, like, Wall-E type looking eyes that they give all these old robots. These pieces can slide, and I haven't really found a use for it in the directions. This is where the helmet's going to connect into those pegs, so maybe you can kind of slide it back and forth. I'm not really sure. We'll play with that when we get to the combined mode for that. Moving right along, you have these two little, kind of like little robot repair arms. And I'll show you how they work with the bed in a moment. You have these two giant cannons, which are identical, but pretty serious firepower there. I like that. Put those off to the side. Then you have this little, like, siren looking piece with just kind of this red translucent plastic. I kind of wish this made sounds. It kind of seems like it should. If they put like a little watch battery in here or something, maybe it could have. It would have driven the price of the toy up, but would have been cool. I mean, I can live without it, but would have been neat. So obviously here is the main truck section. And it's really hollow in there, which is, you'll see why when we get to the combined mode. This is where I tried to put this in, and it almost seems like it should kind of be able to fit in there. But I don't think it's really going to. I'll try it again when we finally put this all together, and we'll see if I can get that to work. But rolling this off to the side just for a moment so we can take a look at the transport bed / like garage repair dock, whatever you'd like to call it. Really nice stickers. I love this is yellow paint, which is really nice. And then this is a big sticker. This here is a big sticker. Big sticker on the back here. So if you open it up, you flip this top section up like this, and then you just open this, and this kind of becomes like a repair dock, like mobile command center type situation. So you can take one of the robots and sit it on here. See if I can... It's a little weird because like the robot's kind of thick or deep, whatever term you want to use. So he doesn't, you know, stand against the wall all that great, but he does do it a little bit. So straighten him out. So put him here, and then you can bring in the little repair arms, and you can see kind of the peg holes all over the walls here. So you can go ahead and peg them in wherever you'd like, and then you can kind of bring the arm in and pretend like it's doing repairs. Let's see, we'll do one on the feet down here. Why not? So then you can just kind of, you know, move them around, have them move up and down, and it looks like they're performing repairs on the robot. So that's kind of cool. I think that's neat. Taking the robot out, you can use this also for storage. So if you wanted to take the arms when you're not using it as a command center, and you can just peg them in here like so. And you can also take this piece, the headpiece, and store it in here as well. The other thing you can do with the headpiece is store it on the inside of this big piece. You can see, and I apologize, the light's probably not going to be cooperative. You can see these kind of little grooves right there and there, and you can peg these into that like this. Just kind of sits in those grooves. So if you want to, you know, store that in there as well, you can do that. So pretty neat. You can go ahead and close this back up, and then fold this part up, and then you have it back into the bed of the truck. So what we'll do is bring the truck back in. You can see there's wheels up here because this is going to flip out. And now you have a nice flat bed. The legs always come unpegged. You just peg it back together. These will be legs in robot mode later on. So you have a nice flat bed there. You're going to take this and you're going to pop it right in here, and that'll peg on, and there you go. Now you've got pretty much the main section of the truck. Now before I do that, actually, I'm going to see if I can slide this piece in here like I talked about earlier. Kind of slide it in there and see if this works. It kind of works. It's not great, and it's certainly not really meant to. It doesn't fit perfectly. But I guess you could hide it in there. This piece is going to drop. You can see these two peg holes right here. These two pegs right here. That drops right there. And then you can see how it also kind of fills in this gap. So this is a nice cohesive flush area. Then you're going to take the two guns and you're going to peg them up top. Or no, you know what? You peg them on the bottom for this one. And then these two peg holes will peg into these two pegs right here. Okay, cool. So that does kind of work. You can kind of hide that piece in there. It's not perfect, but it works. And it's a nice, because there's really nowhere else to do it unless you shove it in the back here. But if you want to put another car in here, you know, that's not a great option. So it's kind of nice that you can hide it in there. But overall, I like the look of this thing. It's a really nice giant transport. You have these guns here in the front, hiding the kind of large gap that is normally in here. You can slide these back. And you can kind of see it. But they slide closed. So yeah, overall, I really like the look of this. And then, of course, you can slide this down and extend out the ramp. And then that's going to hit the ground right there. Then you can bring one of the vehicles in and it can drive right up there. And then you can close up the ramp. Now, as you see, you do have to have just the vehicle. If it has any accessories or anything on top, that's not going to work. You can also open it this way, and then you can see the car inside. So again, I mean, this guy has all these kind of accessories that you do have to take these off before you can fit in there. That is my only complaint about this set. I don't really see why this couldn't have been a little bit taller. I mean, all you would have had to do is just make these sections a little bit, like, you know, just lengthen the piece of plastic from here to here. I wouldn't have minded. I mean, if this is, you know, what it looks like size-wise or height-wise, you know, if this was just a little bit taller, I don't think it would have been that ridiculous. And then you could have fit a little bit more in there. It's not 100% necessary. I can certainly deal with it the way it is. I just think it would have been a little bit cooler just to make them a little bit taller so that you could keep some of the accessories in there. Again, it's not a huge problem. And I do appreciate that one of the cars can fit back there. I really do think that's a cool feature. I'm going to move this for now. So yeah, this is the transporter vehicle mode. And I have to say, I like it a lot. I really, really do. The color scheme looks great. All the stickers look great. The functionality is really a lot of fun. I love all the accessories. Really, really, really cool. I really enjoy it a lot. But we're just getting started. This does have a vehicle, or a robot mode. This is the vehicle mode. It does have a robot mode, so let's check that out. Alright, so to start off the transformation to robot mode, you're going to completely just remove this whole section. You can even leave these on here, and I'm just going to put that off to the side. If you hid the piece in there like me, take that out as well. You're going to fold the bed back up, just like that. You can come around to the side and begin to pull the arms away. And then this piece will rotate around, and then you just kind of fold out the arms. So pull this away, flip that out, spin that. And then this is actually interesting. So normally you would start to flip this piece around like you do with all the robots, but it doesn't want you to do that. You're going to take the knee guards and fold them all the way down, just pretty much 90 degrees. And then you can flip out the feet and then also do 180 degrees with those so that they're completely all the way down. And you can split the feet out. So leaving the crotch piece where it is, you just bring the hips straight down. And then you bend you can pull them out to the side a little bit if you want. You bend the knees backwards, like not normal human knees. You bend them the other way. So it's kind of a short little robot mode, and then you're going to I like to open these just to make it easier. You're going to fold out this little spot for the robot eyes and then close this back up. So that is the little robot mode. It's a kind of cute little robot. Again, I think it's because of the little goofy eyes. You have arm movement, shoulder movement like that. You have in and out here at this shoulder. You have a swivel here at the bicep. You have pretty much 90 degrees in the elbow there. And then you have the pincer claw can open and close. So a lot of articulation, I think. It's really nice. Again, there is more articulation here. Obviously, you have the hip that can go in and out and also back. And then you have, of course, the thigh swivel. And then, of course, you have the knee joint as well. But because of the way they want you to angle this, it kind of limits the articulation in this mode. If you really wanted to, you could just flip the whole hip section forward and then stand it up like a normal robot. If you like that look better, you certainly could do that. This is just how the instructions show it. And it's really to differentiate the individual robot mode from the combined robot mode, because with the combined robot mode, we are going to flip those hips around, which we'll take a look at in a minute. But I think it's fun. I think it's a cool little robot mode. For a size comparison, here is a deluxe class Titan's Return figure. So it's not quite twice as tall, but pretty close to twice as tall. Here's a size comparison with a normal robot from the drive headline. And I'll move this camera up just a smidge. So this guy is kind of the same height. I mean, their heads are kind of on the same level, but the shoulders are a little bit taller. So they're relatively the same size, which I think is kind of cool. He's obviously just much bulkier and looks like he's ready for a fight. This is kind of reminds me something of like Hulkbuster or something like that. Like he's huge, he's bulky, and he's not going to be tossed around easily. So I really like this little robot mode. I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and move that. So the next thing we can do, let's go ahead and get the combined mode with the robot I just took away. So let's take a look at how that works out. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is take the robot, and again, you can use any of the drive head robots. I'm just using Sonic Interceptor because I had him handy, and you know, blue's my favorite color, so I'm a little biased. You can use Cyclone Interceptor, you can use Rescue Backdraft, literally any of the drive head robots can be used for this. So you're just going to go ahead and completely disassemble the robot. Take the arms and the legs off. When you have the torso left, you're going to fold these pieces back. You're going to take the hip section, transform that back until that snaps into place. Then you're going to take the knees, like you were transforming it into vehicle mode, and bring this around. Obviously that tab is going to peg into the tab on the thigh. So pretty much like you're transforming it back into vehicle mode, only none of the pieces are attached and you're leaving the head up. Then you're going to kind of just angle these down a little bit. You're not going to go all the way because you kind of can't, or else you won't be able to put this flush against here. So just kind of like that, just kind of so they hang off the back. So that's the torso section. For the feet, you're just going to fold up the feet and fold these pieces, the knee pads. So that's how those are ready to go. And then for this, you're going to fold this back up again like you're transforming it into the vehicle mode. And then those are ready to go. So now that you have that robot all set, you're going to put that off to the side. And we're going to do some work on this guy. So like I said earlier, you're going to kind of come to the hip section. And you're going to flip that around like you normally would. And you're going to have to pull the hip sections all the way down until this goes there. It doesn't quite peg into place, but it will stay in place. And then you can kind of put the knee guards back to normal, and you're going to fold the feet back up. So there you go. This is the combined... let's get this going here. There we go. And then pull these out a little bit. So this is how tall this bad boy is going to be. It's pretty massive. So you can see these connectors down here. You're actually going to slide the feet right on there. And you can see there's a little hole right here. And that's where the knee guard piece is going to slide into. So all that really does is kind of gives you more heels, which is nice to have because this robot's going to be huge. You can take the hands... and the capture claw is going to rotate all the way around like that. And then this piece you're going to push in and it's going to reveal a fist. So the main robot section has normal robot fists, which I think is pretty cool. I like that a lot. Now you can see, I'm going to angle the camera up here a little bit. These connection pieces that are just kind of hanging off the shoulders, you're going to just go ahead and pop these on just for kind of like a little pop of color. They don't really serve any major purpose. And if you wanted to leave them off, you certainly could. But it's just kind of somewhere to store these pieces so that you don't have anything left over. And it does give kind of a little pop of color up there, so I like that. You're going to take this piece off that we pegged on earlier that has the little robot head. So that piece is going to come completely off. And then you're going to slide these windows open like that. Turn around, and you're going to see that giant cavity. This is going to just pop right in there. Slide in, you'll hear a little click, and like I said, you can kind of bring these down a little bit further so that they're just kind of hanging back there. Then you're going to bring in that piece from earlier, take the head out, come back to this, and then you're going to want to, I think this flips all the way up like that, and then this is going to peg in here and here. And then these two peg holes will peg into these two pegs right here and here. So that's on top, right there and there. And then, like I said, this piece is really just going to cover the hips of the robot, of the smaller Sonic Interceptor. So you can see it leaves these hanging out the back, but everything else is really nicely hidden by this big plastic case there. And it looks good. I think that looks good as the back of the giant robot. It almost kind of just makes these look like jetpacks, in my opinion. And then last, but certainly not least, you're going to take the headpiece here, and you're going to peg this. Okay, well that must be what these are. So you have to slide these forward. If they're slid all the way back, it'll interfere with the head of the robot. So you have to slide these forward and then peg it in. And then I guess you can slide it back a little bit. You don't want to slide it all the way back. You can slide about halfway. Now it's a little difficult to see the actual head. I mean, it's not really any different because it's just the head of the Sonic Interceptor with just this helmet on top. So it would have been neat if there was a way to get like a brand new head. I mean, really what you could have done is just completely folded this in and then had this just been a completely new head and then pop it in and it would have just sat there. But I guess if the light bar up here is a little too much in the way, so I guess that wouldn't have worked. And of course now I'm not going to be able to get this back open. There we go. So I think this is a really cool robot mode. It's a really neat combination. And like I said, I think the fact that you can do this combination with any of the drive head robots gives a lot of playability here. Because that is 6 different combinations you can make with the 3 normal versions and then the 3 kind of souped up versions. I think that's really, really neat. Now the other thing you can do, if you bring this piece back in and take this whole section off, put this off to the side, not anything you can do with that. But take this, unpeg these guns. Now at this point you have some options. You could peg them into his hands if you want him to dual wield them, which it's not going to do easily for me, of course. There we go. So peg these bad boys in. And you have pretty much all the same articulation you had with the smaller robot because it really is the same joints. You just have more mobility now in the hips because nothing's restricted. So you can have those 2 double cannons. You can come around to the back and you can see there's a peg hole right here on the side. So you can peg the guns in back here. And that gives you some options. If you just like the look of them standing straight up, you can certainly do that, which I think looks kind of cool. Or, of course, you can bring them forward, which is also pretty neat as well. So if I go ahead and take both of these off and spin around, the other thing you can do is you take this piece, let me bring the camera back down, and peg these into the top this time instead of the bottom. And then there is one peg right here, which he can hold in his fist. So then it becomes kind of like a giant blaster. So I think that's really cool. I love all the options you have with this. First of all, I love the look of the combined robot mode. I think it looks fantastic. I love all the different combinations. You can have them dual wield these pistols. You can have it merge into one gun. You can store it on the shoulders. There's a lot of playability here. I just think there's a lot of fun to be had with this toy. You have 6 different possible combinations. You have different weapon configurations. And then let's not forget, you have all these weapons from the normal robot, which of course could be used. I'm trying to remember how this opens up. There we go. So, I mean, you can use these weapons. I mean, there's a ton to do here. There's a lot of fun to be had and a lot of possible combinations to do. Alright, so I have the drive gear here. We'll go ahead and take a look at this chip. And I'll get a little bit closer so you guys can see. It is the vehicle mode. And it says transporter start. It's kind of hard to see that transporter is what's written there because it's written in a really dark purple on black, which is kind of a dumb idea. I get they're trying to match the purple. of the actual chip itself, but it's really hard to read because it's so darkly written on black. But it's a nice hollow foil sticker there, so that's always fun. So we'll go ahead and turn this on. So it tells me there's a new story available in story mode. Alright, so it doesn't look like there's anything you can do with this on its own. It's treated like a support vehicle, where you first have to put in one of the normal drive head vehicle chips in first before you can use this. So that's kind of a bummer. Even though it does have its own robot mode, its functionality is relegated to a support chip. So I'm going to put that off to the side for a moment, and we'll start with... I'm going to use the Cyclone Interceptor chip. This thing vibrates so much. I'm going to go ahead and switch into robot mode. Alright, so now we'll go ahead, get the Synchro Gatai going here. You have to press the button at the right time. So the combined form is called Rescue Commander. And you can hear that the walking is a lot more heavy sounding and ominous. So unfortunately, yeah, it just goes back to the Cyclone Interceptor sound. So unfortunately, not a ton of new sounds to be had with this thing. Most of the support vehicles don't have a ton of sounds. Most of the sounds are relegated to the main character robots. But it does say the name of the transporter. It does have the combination into the commander form. So I think that's pretty cool. Rescue Commander. So it's nice. I mean, you don't have to pay anything extra. It's just kind of tossed in. But couple sounds to be had. Could be a little bit more, but what are you going to do? I think this is a super fun toy. There's so much playability to be had here. I love the transporter vehicle form. I love the fact that you can actually have one of the vehicles fit inside. I think that's really fantastic. You have the robot mode, you have the combined mode. The combined mode can work with any of the previous drive head vehicles. Well, the 6 main robots, I should say, not the other support vehicles, but it can work with any of the 6 main vehicles we've gotten so far. I just think it's a lot of fun. I love the transport vehicle mode, and of course I think the combined form is my favorite of all 3, but the little robot has its charm as well. I definitely think that that's a really fun form. I love the pincer claws, but he can also hold the weapons with the peg holes on his forearms. So, I don't know, there's really nothing to complain about. Like I said, if I had to nitpick something, you know, maybe they could have made this a little bit taller so you could fit some of the other accessories and things on the back. Like, you like to usually store the accessories for the other drive head vehicles on top, and it would have been neat if you could put them in with those accessories attached. But that's a super tiny nitpicky thing. It's really not that important. And in the long run, this is a fantastic release. When I first saw these on the show in the very early episodes, I wanted a toy of this, and it did not disappoint. This thing is definitely a lot of fun. 3 modes, lots of combination possibilities. I mean, a light and sounds gimmick might have made it a little bit more fun, but none of the other toys really have that, so I feel like it's not necessary. And you do get these little chips so you can get some sounds out of the drive gear if you have that. So there is kind of a sound and lights aspect that you can get out of this toy, at least one part of it. So I don't really have anything to complain about. Is it perfect? Pretty close. I mean, there are a couple things they could add, but it's definitely a solid toy and a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed this toy. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.